everybody, this is Scott Waters. Welcome to No Life Till Metal, and this is Trog. And we're back for another installment of Hard and Heavy, and this is going to be 1982, and this is going to be an epic video, at least 2 parts. And I just want to say before you even start, this
longer
is
than the last ones?
Yeah, longer than the last ones.
Damn, Gina.
I just want to say that this is not strictly heavy metal.
Right.
Because I'm tired of people arguing with me saying that band's not heavy metal, I don't care if you think they're heavy metal or not.
You know, metal's not even in the title of this. It's
hard and heavy. Exactly.
The rest is up to you. But this isn't so you can argue. It's just, hey, this is our opinions.
Right.
Guess what? Armpits.
So top 30 something 40 something in that area. And I kind of made a list of some of the ones we're leaving out, because that's the other thing is I always get, how can you didn't include this band and that band? Well, there's a few we didn't include, not because we don't like them or think they
just
suck.
lack of time. I mean, as it is, these are the longest ones I think you've done. The ones we do them together because neither of us can shut up about this stuff.
So a couple honorable mentions, all right? So Virgin Steel, a very self-titled Virgin Steel.
Yep.
Jaguar Power Games, which we did discuss putting in.
I have it on CD.
I have Jaguar Power Games on CD. Hanoi Rock, Self-Destruction Blues, great band. Definitely one of the huge influences on the Hollywood scene.
I'm just looking for Jaguar. Don't mind me. Jeez.
Jaguar. Manila Road Metal, which is one that was suggested that I put, and that's actually a really good one, but
band I've never heard.
Really?
And I've been told that Troglodyte Dawn sounds like Manila Road.
Troglodyte Dawn does sound like Manila Road.
Really? I gotta hear these guys.
Especially their earlier stuff. Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Vandenberg, self-titled. One that we both swore we had on vinyl, and neither one of us
do.
Well, I have it on CD.
I don't have it on CD.
But I didn't bring it. And then also Budgie, delivering us from evil. All right, so we're going to actually talk about that one because that one was supposed to be in the video, and I neglected to bring it. So it was their 10th studio album. It was the only album by Budgie not to feature a Budgie on the cover.
Oh wow, that's true. It's like a hands that are like bound up with shackles. Was there a flower in there too?
Something like that, a flower. Yeah. But anyhow, you know, I just spaced it. Forgot to bring it. Great album. It was also the only Budgie album to not be a power trio. They had a keyboard player, so they had a 4th member.
Oh, no kidding! I didn't know that.
And it was their last album for a long time. Great album. A little more commercial than their other stuff. It's just more production than anything else. And they had keyboards. But still a great album. Martin Popoff gives it a 10 in his collector's guidebook. So
I mean, all the Budgie stuff's great. Yeah.
And then another one that we're going to give an honorable mention to, because neither one of us had it on vinyl. I did. I recently traded it off. Was Venom, black metal. Can't talk about 82 and heavy metal without talking about Venom.
Let's see what we have on here. What was it? I mean, one of my favorite cut on here was the one that always stuck with me was Countess Bathory. I loved that cut. It was a great one.
And I mean, there's a whole genre named after black metal now, and it's all based on, you know, Venom. And
although it's, I mean, the sound of this
is
and
so far removed from the trash.
Yeah. Totally different animal. The other thing I love on here was the preview to the intro At War with Satan, which is just awesome. It's probably the most produced track on this album. It sounded great, and it just had this really deep kind of creature voice. Yeah. It was great. It was kind of like, can't wait to hear the album.
You know, the other thing about this album and the modern black metal scene is they were tongue-in-cheek, totally.
Oh yeah, Venom was like,
and these black metal guys are like, yeah, well, you know, seriously into it. But Teacher's Pet's a great song.
Yeah, that's the other one. Yeah, that was a good one.
And then Black Metal, the title track. I mean, that's just a signature cut by them.
And you know, as much as I was like, oh my god, this is so satanic when I was a kid, the cover's really cool. The Venom has one of the best logos ever. What a cool logo they got, and the way it just fit on the devil head guy, it looks cool.
Yes. All right, so now we're gonna get right into our list. Right. So starting at the bottom, we're not gonna number these until we get to the top 10. We're gonna have a top 10 this time.
Yeah, that's 5. How big it is.
So we're gonna start right off with the very first one, and it's
Girl School.
Girl School.
Screaming Blue Murder. Last one, I believe, with the original Girl School lineup for a while.
Correct.
The next one was Play Dirty in '84, I think, and they had a different bass player because no, different bass player in this one.
You're right.
Enid was already gone, so Gil Weston came in on this one. So the last one was the...
But Kelly Johnson was still around this one.
Yeah, Kelly Johnson and Kim McAuliffe was on here, and the drummer, Denise, she was always there.
And of course, Kelly Johnson's gone now.
Yep.
So, But this still had that classic new wave of British heavy metal sound, still kind of raw, Motorhead-ish, wasn't quite refined like some of the ones after this would become.
Yeah, Scream Blue Murder was a total ass kicker. Don't Call It Love was a great track. Wildlife was really cool. Flesh and Blood was really cool. They did a cover of ZZ Top's Tush on here.
And Hellraiser.
Which was neat. Is Hellraiser on it?
Yep.
The Sweet Song?
Yeah, no, it's not, it was their own song.
Oh, okay.
You know what's interesting is that this is a Japanese pressing. His is it a US pressing or look at the track listing.
Scream Blue Murder, Live With... Oh, they switched them all up.
They switched all up, yep.
I wonder why they do that.
I don't know.
I mean, like with a song, with an album like The Elder, okay, I get it.
Right.
I get why they did that, but
I don't know why they did it on this one.
Something like this.
But this is kind of a Japanese press. It's kind of cool because it's got this little Japanese symbol up here, which I guess means demonstration or demo or promo or something like that. But yeah,
mine
classic.
has nothing, just a little ringwear beginning because it's an old album.
Classic new wave of British heavy metal.
Yeah,
Girl School.
Love Girl School.
Next is I'm including this one instead of the Budgie because I did remember to bring this one. But this is another new wave of British heavy metal band. This is Girl. This is Wasted Youth. Features Phil Collin and Phil Lewis.
LA Guns.
LA Guns. So.
Well, all the way from the UK to be in an LA band.
But it's not very heavy. It's very glammy.
Yeah.
But it is still metal. I mean, it's it's that new wave of British heavy metal sound, but it's on the more commercial end rather than the Venom, Raven, and
which is obviously why Def Leppard chose Phil Collin because they were never a metal band.
Of course, right? And it's actually not that far off from what Def Leppard became. Yeah. But it's a good. It's not the greatest album, but it's a solid album, and it's definitely a good one for '82.
Was that their only one?
No, this is their second album.
Second?
Yeah, their second album. So.
And Phil was on both of them? Both Phils?
Phil was on both. At least Phil Lewis was on both of them. I can't remember if Collins was on the first one or not. Anyhow.
Not Phil Collins.
Not Phil Collins. Nope. Oh, that might have been interesting.
Yeah, that would have been really interesting. Phil Collins in Def Leppard.
Yeah.
Why not? When Rick's arm left the band. Which one you want?
I think it doesn't matter.
All right. This was a compilation that came out in '82, but it had 4 new cuts on it, unavailable anywhere else. Kiss, Killers. And the 4 new tracks on it, I'm a Legend Tonight, Down on Your Knees, Nowhere to Run, and Partners in Crime. They're all Paul Stanley songs.
Yep.
Could have been on his solo album. Maybe they were left over from it. I don't know. But they're solid tracks. They're pretty cool for someone who was back into Kiss.
And from what I remember about this album, it was basically their label in Europe was screaming for something new because Elder tanked.
Right. Which, why? Because it's an awesome album, that's why.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Elder was a great album.
But it's a good album. It's I mean, I don't know that how many times can you hear, Rock and Roll All Night?
Yeah, it's an odd little compilation, but it's got, it's got a couple of later tracks on it, like from Dynasty, which didn't make it onto things like Double Platinum.
Right.
Because it came later.
Short or Something, that's a great song, actually.
Is Detroit Rock City a different mix, I think, probably than the Destroyer one, or is it just kind of
fade
in, fade out?
I don't remember. Someone let us know. I can't remember on this one, but...
Yeah, because Detroit Rock City on Double Platinum, it didn't have that whole big intro.
No, they lost the intro.
And it didn't have the car crash at the end.
Right.
So maybe it's that same version, I don't know.
I can't remember.
I can't remember.
Before I do these videos, I listen to most of the stuff that we want. Matter of fact, I listen to almost every single one, but this was a last-minute inclusion that we just decided to put in. So anyhow, Kiss Killers, this is the, looks like a UK pressing, and that would be the German pressing with the backward
or is it, what was it, the East German pressing or West?
West German.
West German pressings are the ones that changed the S's.
And I found just recently that there were some other countries that did this too.
Oh, no kidding.
Austria being one of them.
Well, that would make sense.
Yep.
Nazis occupied Austria, I believe. Yep. Hey, you learn history here too. Of course, it's history by the seat of my pants because I don't freaking remember, but hey, Sound of Music, Austria, Germany, they bothered the Von Trapp family in Austria. I bet the Nazis occupied Austria.
Yes.
See how it works?
Yeah, a buddy of mine, Ben, who has a YouTube channel as well, he was showing a couple new Kiss records he got, and he started showing, this is an Austrian pressing, it had the backwards E's. I'm like, hey dude, that's got the backwards E's. Like, yeah, that's the way they are here. It's like, oh cool, I didn't know that.
Oh, cool. So, and just, in case anyone's wondering and doesn't know by now, the Lightning Bolt S's in Kiss look like the Nazi SS Stormtroopen Soldaten from World War II. Anything Nazi related in Germany and apparently Austria too is very taboo and unwelcome. Rightly so. So yeah, in case anyone didn't know that, that's why you see some Kiss albums with that change.
Sporting one of the coolest covers from '82. This is Coney Hatch, Canadian band. Kind of has that smooth AC/DC vibe to it. It's a little cleaner. Produced by Kim Mitchell.
Oh, okay.
What was the name of the band he was in? Come on now, help me out.
I've never even heard Coney Hatch, so I've heard the name Kim Mitchell. I know he's a producer.
Well, Kim Mitchell was very popular artist out of Canada. He had the song Soda that was real popular. What is it called? It doesn't matter.
I'm off.
Kim Mitchell.
I'm Canadian, eh?
Kim Mitchell, and there was one hit off this album. It was called Hey Operator, which actually I had a single for, but I didn't bring it with me. So.
Never heard those guys. You have to play them for me.
Yeah, it's good, solid 80s rock for 82 and a great cover.
Oh, that is cool.
So.
And some of the Canadian rock and metal that's come out of Canada is cool. It's got a different vibe to it. I like a lot of Canadian.
Yeah, and I've been getting to a lot of it. And this is actually, I just got this year, but I've known about this one since since it came out. But it's solid. I'm not gonna say they're nowhere near an AC/DC ripoff. It just kind of has that simplistic, heavy vibe.
Yeah.
And this was actually their biggest selling record. They were never a huge band, and it was also a single. Hey Operator.
Is there a girl in the band, or just a very attractive male?
Very attractive male.
Wow. I'm not saying I thought he was attractive.
Well, you know Robert Sweet on some of those records.
The Striper guys were very, very sexy.
All right, next up, you're up. Yep.
You're up.
You're up. Yep.
One of my favorites from '82. UFO MECHANIX.
Yeah, it's a great record.
Third album during the Paul Chapman era. Chapman is the one who replaced Michael Schenker. And also on this one, Neil Carter replaced Paul Raymond. I think Paul Raymond was still with them as of the one prior to this.
I think you're right.
And the Innocent,
Yep.
which Paul Raymond was a huge part of UFO's sound. The keyboard, I mean, a lot of the keyboard players, they don't even get in the lineup. He was in the lineup, and man, I know I'm digressing, but when I saw him, the first time I saw him live with Paul Raymond, how much he added to the fullness of their sound, and just, man, all that classically oriented keyboard parts, like songs like Try Me, or...
he played rhythm guitar too, right?
He did.
Yeah.
He switched back, he just added so much to that band that he was not a sideman at all, like some keyboard players are relegated to. Paul Raymond was friggin' integral
Yep.
to UFO's sound. But Neil Carter replaced him on this one. Really not fair to talk about Neil too much after that glowing recommendation of Paul I just gave. But we got Phil Mogg, Pete Way, Andy Parker, and Paul Chapman are, they're the, what do you call it? The core of UFO, really.
And Paul Chapman is such an underrated guitar player. He's always lived in the shadow of Schenker, and it's kind of a shame because he didn't try and sound like Schenker.
No, he didn't. And he had just as much to offer.
Yep.
Favorite cuts on here, the Rider. The opening cut is so killer. Such a great riff in that one. Something else was the Eddie Cochran cover, which they did a couple of his songs. Back Into My Life, You'll Get Love is one of my personal favorites. Great song. We Belong to the Night, Let It Rain. Just a great album. It's solid UFO.
Yep.
A little bit more commercial than their previous stuff. They were moving in that direction. It was the 80s. A lot of bands were getting infected with that. More commercial, lightening up the metal approach, getting more radio friendly.
Exactly.
But a band like UFO, I can forgive them for it because the material was so strong.
And Phil Mogg's vocals are otherworldly.
No UFO, no Phil Mogg. He became that to this band.
Oh, yeah.
And then here we got the US pressing and the European one with the
red logo, yeah.
And there's a poster, I believe. Poster in this one, which is just friggin' unbelievable and cool, and will never get put up because I only have one. Forgot about that.
Oh, that's right. That's a cool poster.
Isn't that awesome? Thank you, eBay, for hipping people who wouldn't have known about it otherwise. What a killer poster.
Yep.
Damn, I wanted that.
Alright, we're going to go to the next one. This next one is, I'm going to say this is fairly new to me. I've just discovered this band this year, thanks again to Ben from Austria. He sent me this single by No Bros, Heavy Metal Party. And this is the single, which came out in '82. No Bros, they're from Austria.
And they're all guys?
All guys. And this is the full-length album called Heavy Metal Party. Now these guys studied their Deep Purple and Uriah Heep albums because that's what this sounds like. It's got that classic '70s sound with the I want to say keyboards, but it's not keyboards. It's
the Hammond. The Hammond
organ sound. Yeah.
Hammond V3.
And that's where it gets its heaviness from. Actually, I was kind of shocked with the name Heavy Metal Party. I was expecting something a little more 80s commercial when I first heard it, but this is got that great 70s European sound.
And this is just more evidence that heavy metal was still in the mix. Hard rock stuff that we call it hard rock today, it was considered heavy metal
back in the day, exactly.
And back then, I mean, hard rock and heavy metal were still in bed together to such a way that you couldn't really separate it so much like you do today.
And well, you didn't. It was all one and the same. So, but yeah, anyhow, No Bros. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but if you can find a copy of this, I highly recommend it, especially if you're into that, kind of Uriah Heep deep purple sound from the 70s. They have at least 3 albums out and a bunch of singles, and they're hard as heck to find. Thanks to Ben for hooking me up with these.
Brand new to me. Alright, here we've got, you hear about comebacks in metal from time to time from, tragic circumstances, whatever. This was one of the most anticipated comebacks of its time. Comeback in just that he was able to do anything after what happened, really, and that's Ozzy. He was rounding out his commitment to Jet Records and Don Arden. So he delivered an album of Sabbath covers, which for me at the time, being the huge Sabbath head I am, I was psyched about it. I was like, oh cool, Ozzy's giving the nod to Sabbath? Awesome. Brad Gillis comes in,
does a good job.
He does a great job. Brad Gillis is an awesome guitar player, and he had big shoes to fill. Friggin' Randy Rhoads.
Or Tony Iommi.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, no doubt. Tony's shoes have only grown bigger over the years, but yeah, I mean, how tragic was this? I mean, for metalheads, all right, we had Bon Scott. Some are going to argue that AC/DC wasn't as metal as Ozzy, whatever. But the tragedies that we had, the people that died around this time, Randy Rhoads was one of the biggest losses the metal world really had ever felt up to that point. And so I was very anxious for this album. I got the US version here, which was Speak of the Devil, and UK version, Talk of the Devil, which must mean the saying is different over there.
I remember when this first came out, the rumor was, or I read somewhere, that it was because Randy had died, he didn't want to do any of the Ozzy stuff.
I didn't hear that.
I didn't either, but I mean, I heard it back in the time, but then I've read more recently that regardless of whether Randy was alive or dead, his commitment to Don Arden was he had to put out this live record full of Sabbath songs. Yep. And apparently Randy was so upset about having to do it that he was ready to quit the band.
That I didn't realize, because I mean, they always played like Paranoid,
right?
Children of the Grave, and one other one I can't remember.
So, and I read that in both Randy Rhoads' biography and in bass player Reed Sargent's biography. Yep.
And this is one little. I like to tell little stories. I can't remember the exact translation, but if you look at the framing around Ozzy, it's got these Tolkien runes in there, and if you can get transcription, or you can get things that help you to translate it. Every one of these runes it has a letter in them, the English alphabet that it corresponds to. So it's just kind of like a different alphabet. And there's messages around all the pictures, including here. I used to have them all figured out. Like one of them is just Ozzy saying just some nonsense, like it's the madman is back dumping in Satano's toiletio or something really goofy like that. On the inside, it's a totally heartfelt message about Randy Rhoads, how he was Ozzy's lifeblood, and he doesn't know how he's going to carry on without him. This back one, it probably says the Ozzy Osbourne Band, something like that. But I just remember, I love little secret things like that. Yeah. And I remember when I found that out, I was like, oh, I translated the whole album. There's another album that has them, the Jethro Tull Broadsword album has them all over it. And it was right around the same time. So kind of cool. Interesting, 2 nights at the Ritz in New York City. It's all Sabbath, very updated. It's okay, it's pretty unique. I haven't listened to it in a long time, but it's an era that was very short. Brad Gillis toured with him. Oh, great. Toured with him just for this, I believe. Yep. I don't think he stuck around very long until Jackie Lee showed up a couple of years after.
Right. And Bradley wasn't even the first guitar player after Randy.
Bernie Torm.
Bernie Torme, yep.
From Gillen.
Yep. All right, so next up is Not a Band. First time we're going to be putting Not a Band in our top albums.
But a seminal release that was really important.
Very important release for the year, Metal Massacre. And
mine's the CD version. I don't have the album version of the Metal Blade one.
And this version is the second pressing. First difference between the first pressing, which the cover looks like this, and then the second pressing, which looks like this.
The one you've all seen.
Yeah. Is that, well, first of all, the covers are different, obviously.
Right.
But also, the track listing is different. On the very first one, you had Black and Blue. On the very first one, you had Steeler. And then on the second pressing, you had Black and Blue.
Yep.
And then on the first pressing, you had Metallica spelled with two T's, M-E-T-T-A-L-L-I-C-A.
Oh, that's what it was? Oh, I thought it was, they only spelled it with the one L. Okay.
No, they spelled it with two T's, and also it's a different version.
Yeah. Lloyd Grant played guitar on Hit the Lights on this one.
And on this one, it would have been Dave Mustaine. It was re-recorded, so there's two different Metallica versions.
Altogether, there are 3 different versions of that particular track.
Because the Hit the Lights do one, there's the other one, or what do you call it?
From the demo, from No Light to Leather?
The No Light to Leather demo, which is also an 82 release, also important for this year.
Yep, but just got its reissue this year on
Which is what this is. This is your,
Yeah, it's a simulation of James' original copy.
Yeah, which is
on a TDK.
Very, very, very cool. I mean, this one's sealed. I'll never open it. It was a record store day release.
I mean, we've had this material and a ton of other Metallica demos for years. I mean, bootleggers and traders have been passing this stuff around for like 30, 40 years, something like that. I don't know.
But I don't know. Regardless, I just remember hearing that song for the first time on this album, thinking, "Oh my gosh!"
Yeah, and I heard it later after I'd already been into Kill 'Em All and everything, and I hadn't heard No Life to Leather yet.
But other songs, other bands that turned me on to, Cirithungal.
Oh yeah, and that song. Favorite Cirithungal song ever of anything. I mean, they redid Death of the Sun on King of the Dead, and the version doesn't even touch this one.
Yeah, the original one's the best.
Yeah.
Then of course you got Bitch, Malice, Rat, which they left off the CD version for some strange reason.
And they left the Steeler off too. Do you remember what song the Steeler one was?
Yeah, I was trying to remember it. I should have looked it up before.
I don't know that I've ever heard it.
It's on the album.
Was Tell the World included on the first Rat EP? I can't remember.
It was on the first EP, but it's a different version for what I understand.
It was, okay.
Yeah. Demon Flight, Pandemonium, Malice, and Metallica.
Yep.
And Avatar. Avatar Octave. So there you go.
And that Avatar is not the same Avatar
no,
morphed into
no,
Sabotage.
It's not Sabotage.
I just found that out recently.
Totally different band, yes.
Yeah.
Totally different band.
I've got the original Avatar, City Beneath the Surface 45. I was thinking it was the same for years, and I looked into it, and it's not.
Yeah.
Just for those who want to know.
There you go. Metal Massacre.
Yep.
1982. The only compilation we've ever showed in a...
Is it?
The only one? Yeah.
We've shown compilations by bands.
Yes.
Just not various artists.
Not a various artists compilation.
That was an important one. Really important. It was a brand new metal scene that was growing, which became the thrash movement, really. All right, 1982. Here we have, all the way from Land of the Rising Sun, Loudness, Rebel Soldier. And this is one of their first 4 albums, the lesser known stuff. I don't even know that I have a lot to say about this album, to be honest.
Great guitar work on it. It's a little foreign sounding when I first heard it, because it wasn't the first album I heard by them. It was, Thunder in the East or something around there.
Yeah, and mine was Disillusioned.
Disillusioned. I remember you telling me that. So when I went backwards into it, I started listening to this stuff where it had the Japanese lyrics. It sounded a little foreign to my ear.
Yeah, it's a little bit odd, which is kind of what made them unique.
Right, and that's what I liked about it, and I still like about it. And the guitar work is phenomenal.
Yeah, and the goofy covers, definitely.
Oh, even the name of the album.
Yeah, I mean, the first one was what, The Birthday Eve, so we had the little devil baby inside of the glass crystal egg. Here, he's hatched, obviously, and found a career as a devil soldier. And he's got this red hair. He doesn't even have horns. He's just got like the pointy elf ears.
Spot ears, yeah.
And he's got the Loudness logo, which looks suspiciously like a Queensryche logo.
The bat wings.
Yeah, and he's got bat wings, but he does have his diaper on still. But hey, that does not stop kids from joining the army in Japan, or in hell, apparently, or in Israel, from what I've heard. Oh, that probably was really bad.
But it's a great album. It is a good album.
Yeah, it
definitely deserves to be in the list.
Loudness.
All right, next one up.
Manowar.
Battle Hymn.
I will zip my lip. I will not say anything.
I mean, everybody jokes about this band, but those first few albums are classics. I mean, you want to talk about traditional true metal, you got it right here. I mean, Deftone, freaking awesome song. What else is on here? Metal Days, that's a great song.
Is Deftone a motorcycle song? One of these is a motorcycle song. I can't remember which one.
And then they're eponymous. How you said that word? Eponymous when it's a self-titled song.
Oh, eponymous.
Eponymous. Thank you. Eponymous song is on here. Williams Tale, Battle Hymn. It's just a classic record. I mean, this is heavy metal defined in 1980.
It's classic heavy metal. I've given this band so many chances. I'm sorry. I wanted to like them. I really have always wanted to like them. I just don't.
But the heart and soul of this band, Joey DeMaio. I mean, it's his bass work. I mean, he's led me to Motorhead.
Yeah.
Joey DeMaio is to Manowar, in my opinion.
I mean, these guys, I don't know. I think they just take themselves so seriously.
And
if they were funny about it, if it was a joke, okay, maybe I can get into it. I don't know. All Men Play on 10, only Manowar song that I ever really got into. I thought that's a cool.
Yeah, I love this record. Although my favorite record by them is Hail to England. But
what's on that one
here?
Oh, I know that one. That's the one with the arrows, the black arrows of death, whatever it is.
May each note I now play be a black arrow of death to all those who play false metal. Manowar. Manowar is the butt of so many jokes, man. But
mostly the homoerotic stuff, and that's their own fault, though. You know, you grease yourself up all muscly on an album cover with anime belts around this for loincloths, you're gonna get made fun of. I'm sorry.
Nugent did it, but nobody. It was different.
Nugent wasn't, you know, it's just like, he was just insane. But these guys, they're trying to be sexy, I think, and I don't want to see that.
But anyhow, it is a great album. This is a classic album. A band everybody seems to either love or hate, but I mean, Ross the Boss, guitar on this one, fantastic guitar player, and Eric Adams' vocals are just insane.
Because Ross the Boss was in another band called The Dictators, wasn't he?
Correct.
Yes, I thought so.
Correct.
I forgot about that.
This next album, which Randy's going to show, is Rocked My World.
Yeah, it's a ball buster. It rocked my world mainly because I was convinced it was AC/DC. It was just like, wait a minute, For Those About to Rock just came out. Krokus, One Vice at a Time. I mean, Long Stick Goes Boom was getting airplay on my radio station, WBLM 108 at the time. And I was just like, this is totally AC/DC.
Oh yeah, that song is totally AC/DC.
I mean, I can hear the difference now, but back then, no way.
Yep.
I could not tell.
And that's the same song I heard the first time, and I'm like, what? I think I heard it on the Metal Shop or one of those kind of things.
Probably.
That's freaking awesome. I got to get that, and that's the album I bought.
And they do the cover of American Woman on here,
which is a really good cover too. I actually like it better than the original myself, but
they did a couple of Guess Who covers. There was another one, Stay Awake All Night. That was another one.
Which is
was that? No, it was Backman Turner Overdrive. I'm sorry, but Guess Who morphed into Backman Turner.
That was a great cover too, though.
Yeah, great album. And then me and my buddy Chris Allenak picked this up. Then we find out there's a ton more albums that came before it.
Yep.
So we got into Hardware, and we got into the
Metal Rendezvous.
Metal Rendezvous and the Heat Strokes EP. The stuff before that's a little sketchy, but yeah. So there was already a legacy, and we'd never heard of them. These guys are from Sweden or Switzerland.
You know, I always do the same thing with them. I always mix it up. Switzerland.
Stupid SW.
Because it SW, exactly.
Well, one of those bands, one of those countries. See, you get kind of a half-assed history and geography.
I got this really cool technology. I'll just put it right here across the screen.
Krokus, where it actually from. And Krokus is actually the name of a flower, but it's spelled C-R-O-C-U-S, which is not metal enough for Switzerland. Great album. Awesome album.
And for those interested, I just noticed on Amazon, they're selling a 5-pack of 180-gram Krokus albums, 5 of their albums for $30.
Krokus and their back catalog, aside from like the first couple albums, first 2 or 3.
The 78 albums impossible to
find.
find
That stuff. The other stuff, you find more of that stuff than you want.
Yeah.
I mean, when I got back into vinyl again, buying used stuff, Krokus was everywhere. There was no searching for it. And now they got reissued, and it's just funny because it's like, wow, I didn't even have to look for these. These were the easiest things to find.
Which is probably why they're as a 5-pack for $30 on Amazon.
Yeah.
But it's all colored vinyl, 180 grams.
But whoever's handling their back catalog is doing a great job.
Yeah.
It's always been available, and it's cool. It's not. I'm not saying it's not fun to look for stuff that goes out of print or that's hard to find. But let's face it, sometimes it's more frustrating than fun, especially if you've been looking for years.
Or break your wallet.
Yeah, that too.
All right, next up, Whitesnake. Saints and Sinners.
Great cover. I love the cover.
This album was produced by Martin Birch. Martin Birch, who...
Mr. Metal, he produced Number of the Beast.
He produced a bunch of Maiden.
In Rock by Deep Purple.
He did Deep Purple. He did the first 3 Wishbone Ash albums.
I didn't realize that.
He did...
I love Wishbone Ash.
Black Sabbath, Mob Rules, and
that was Sabbath. I mean, that was Birch.
That was Martin Birch. He did Mob Rules and Heaven and Hell.
No kidding, huh? I usually know crap like that.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
And then there's 2 songs on here that ended up being re-recorded later on and became a hit for the band. Crying in the Rain.
Yep, Crying in the Rain was on the 1987 album.
And Here I Go Again.
Here I Go Again was what? Probably their hugest song as far as like
one of them, yeah.
Probably sales.
So
yeah, and now that stuff came out like 15 years priar.
But this album.
No, I'm sorry. 5 or 6 years prior.
5, yeah.
So we're in the 80s.
But it's just, the whole album is solid. It's very smooth, very Coverdale-ish. I mean, it's goofy, corny in a Coverdale way.
Cool
There's
classic shot of Dave Coverdale in the back. Could have been in Deep Purple. He was still the David Coverdale of Deep Purple at this point.
Yeah, and this album could have been in this year. Could have actually almost been a Deep Purple album, save for the guitar playing, which doesn't quite sound like Blackmore.
No,
but it's still.
Well, is John Lordney and Pace? Are they still in the band at this point?
You know, that is a good question. I don't remember.
I want to say they're not.
I don't think they are either.
Because I bet well, Live in the Heart of the City was before this because we showed it last time. So no, Neil Murray was in the band. No, wait a minute. They might have been.
Let's just look real quick while we're
instead of letting Trog go off on rapid trails.
Oh well, you know, Whitesnake. There's a probably a commonly known fact.
Well, here you go. It's not in there, so does not.
Scott will do the magic of editing, and he'll.
Yes, because I honestly don't remember who was in the band at the time.
Since I posed that question. All right, we got a couple. These next couple releases, yeah, these kind of go together. These were live releases from long-standing bands that kind of came out around the same time. Double live, and these are kind of the last of a breed. Really, the Double Live album kind of tapered off after this.
They were really popular for a while, especially in the late 70s.
Hugely, and I still love them. When they're done well, I love them.
Yep, and this one was done well.
Blue Oyster Cult, Extraterrestrial Live, which came on the heels of Fire of Unknown Origin.
Right.
Which has similar artwork. It's got the Druid guys.
And that was their second double live album.
Yep.
Their 3rd live album overall.
Yeah, that's true. They're kind of like Rush. Every few albums they put out a live one. Not nearly as deliberate, I think, as Rush is, but. And this one, it's got all the hits. It's got old cuts, but it's got the new favorites as well. Roadhouse Blues is on here, and Robbie Krieger of the Doors guests on it, which is cool. Veteran of the Psychic Wars, which is probably my favorite Blue Oyster Cult song of all time. Joan Crawford, Black Blade's on here, which is a later cut. Godzilla. There's a cool version of Godzilla on here that complete with Asteroids, the video game, in the background. I mean, computers hadn't really entered rock and roll too much at this point, not in the hard rock area. So hearing all those goofy early 80s video noises during Godzilla is pretty funny. It dates it a little bit. And this is also one of the last albums I remember hearing cuss words getting beeped out.
Beeped out, that's right. That and Queen Live Killers, I remember those on
Yep,
too.
And they were only a couple years apart. So yeah, pretty cool. One I haven't spun in a while, and I probably should, but just worth noting is, you know, the alien theme, extraterrestrial stuff. It's been around since ETI in 1975's Agents of Fortune, but Eric Bloom subscribes to that stuff. He's very into life on other planets and other worlds and aliens visiting ours and blah blah blah. So it's kind of been a thread throughout the stuff that he's been credited as writing.
Sticking with the live albums theme.